To complete this project, click Create to open the editor, or navigate to Classes, open the class, and open the assignment. Navigate to the project bin and import the images or video clips you're going to use for this project. Before importing my images, I renamed them on my desktop. I used FD for Frederick Douglass, and then I numbered them 1, 2, 3, etc. in the order that I want them to appear in my project. Hold down Command to select multiple images and select the images in the order you want them to appear in your video. And then click and drag the images down to the timeline to the video 1 track. You can set the duration each photo will be on screen and then decide whether to include the Ken Burns effect. I'm leaving the Ken Burns effect on, which adds a subtle pan or zoom effect to the photos. Now I'm going to add music to my video, so I'll click Audio to search the stock media library for music. You can search for a specific genre or mood and then click through the songs to preview them. And when you find one you like, just click and drag it down to the Audio 1 track on the timeline. I'll select the audio clip and click Split, and then delete the extra audio I don't need, and then just trim the audio clip to match the length of my video. Now I'll add some text. You can click See All to expand the titles, and then click through to explore both motion and static text. When you find one you like, just click and drag it down to the Text 1 track. You can trim text just like you can video clips and audio clips, and move text in the preview window. Double-click on text to edit the text, font, color, and size. This is my title screen, and this video is about Frederick Douglass, so I'll have it say Frederick Douglass. I'll change the color. I could keep it sort of black and white, or I could use the text to add some color. You can click and drag to find the specific color you like. And then I can change the font, maybe go with something a little more bold, just have both words match. You can click and drag the text box to expand the text and increase the size. And now I'm going to add captions. So I'm going to go back and look for the special text. I see this caption. I'll click and drag that down. I'm just going to trim it so it matches the length of my picture. And then I'll expand this text box out so it fills the bottom of the screen. And then just double click on the text block to edit the text. So I'll use this to start to introduce information about Frederick Douglass. He was a famous abolitionist. And click Done when you're done. And then I'll just copy and paste this text box since it's set up the way I want it in terms of length and it's expanded across the screen. And then I can just double click on each text box and go in and edit the text. So I'll just continue doing that until I've added all the information that I want to communicate in my video. If you want to add a voice recording, go ahead and drag the playhead to where you want your recording to start. Click on the project bin and then click Narrate to start a voice recording. You can choose your mic, then click Start and Record. You'll get a nice little countdown. Then you can start recording your voice recording. If you've added text of what you want to say, you can just read from the screen while you're recording. And when you're done recording your voice recording, go ahead and click Stop. You can preview your recording and re-record or click Save if you like it. Your voice recording gets added to a new track called VoiceOver 1. You can trim your voice recording and you can click and drag to move it around the timeline. You could record a couple more voice recordings to finish narrating your story. And at this point, we could turn in our video. We've got a really great video with animated images, text, music, a voice recording that tells a really dynamic story. However, I'm going to show you a couple more things you could do to give this a little bit more of a modern feel. So I'm going to add a new video track and then just use the snowman to move that track down so that we have the video 1 track and the video 2 track next to each other. I'll go ahead and click and drag and highlight the media clips and click delete to delete them. And I'm going to import some new media. This time I'm going to use the same photos from my last project, but I've removed the background from these photos using a website called remove.bg. I'll hold down Command again to select multiple images, and I'll select them in the order I want them to appear in my video, and I'll click and drag them down to the video 2 track. I'll set the duration I want each image to appear. I'm going to go with 4 seconds, and then I'm going to turn the Ken Burns effect off so that these images are static and I can animate them on my own. Now, these images have the backgrounds removed, so I'm going to layer some backgrounds under these images on the video one track. So I'll click videos and search the stock media library. You can use your own search terms. I'm using the search term colorful backgrounds. And I'll just search through and find backgrounds I like, and then just drag them down to the video one track. I'll trim these video clips so that they match the length of the photos above them, and continue to do this until I have all of the backgrounds down on the video one track. You can use other search terms, geometric shapes, animated backgrounds, space, particles, in this case stripes, all turn back some pretty cool images. Again, I'll just use the split tool here since my clip is going off the page, and delete the end and then just trim that clip. And now I've got all my backgrounds on the video one track of the timeline. You can use the slider on the right to zoom in or zoom out as needed. And then you can click and drag to highlight multiple clips, and then right click and click Add Transition to add a transition to all of the clips. I'll do that to both my background clips and the images of Frederick Douglass. And then you can go ahead and click on the transition to change the transition type. I like crossfade for the backgrounds because I like them blending into one another. But I'm going to use some other transitions to animate the images on top. 3D cube vertical is a good one. Cross zoom is a fun one. Burn is a good one. You can play around with transitions and see what works for you. I'll add a cross mosaic here. And now we can see what this looks like. Already we've got some cool animations happening between the background and using the transitions on the photographs. We can make this even more dynamic by adding an animation to each photo. So I'll double click on the photo and select animation. And then I'm going to select the start position and scale. And then I'll select end position and kind of slide this around and increase the scale here. And then we get this kind of cool animation. I'll double click on the next clip and select animation to adjust the start and end position of that clip. And I'm just going to have this clip move across the screen. And since I want this image to just move horizontally across the screen, I'll just make sure the Y coordinates are the same on both the start position and the end position. So now we can check out what that looks like. We've got this growing image, then a transition, and then a sliding image. And we've got this really dynamic sort of animation now. So that's pretty much it. You can kind of play around with those features to animate the images the way that you want them to. With this one, I could have the boat kind of move across the screen, but then decrease the scale so it also looks like the boat is sort of moving away from us. Um, Create movement that way. We can take a look at how that looks. Another fun transition you could use is the slide transition. And this is going to cause our image to slide onto the screen or the previous image to slide off the screen. Now you can also create a similar effect using the animation tool. So I'm going to delete this transition. And then I'm going to go ahead and split my clip, this photo of Frederick Douglass here, into 2 clips. And I'm going to double click on the first one to animate it. And I'm going to have the start position be off screen. So this image will kind of fly on screen. So here we can see what that would look like. And then I'm going to go ahead and animate the second clip. And I'm just going to change the end position, have the scale increase a little bit, have this clip move across the screen. And then we get our character flying on screen and then moving from there. You could add another split to animate the end and have the character fly off screen. To do that, you'll just need to have the start position from this new clip match the end position from your previous clip, so you get a nice seamless animation where the animation picks up where the last one left off. So you can just copy over the scale and the X and Y coordinates, and then change the end position for this last clip so it flies off screen. You can change the duration of each clip to make the animation move faster or slower. And then let's take a look at what this looks like. And so, yeah, you can use those tools to kind of play around it and make the video your own. I like to add a dip to black transition at the end to give this nice fade out effect. When you finish your video, go ahead and click turn in. If you want to share your video to social, use the hashtag WeVideoCreative and tag at WeVideo. We'd love to see what you create. Happy creating!